My name is Sydney. I'm the group leader for Team 2, and this is our case presentation on Zipcar. And Katie will go ahead and get us started with the introduction for the company.
All right, so Zipcar was founded by Angie Danielson and Robin Chase in 2000, and it was started because the founders wanted to bring the European car sharing idea to North America. And Zipcar has become since the world's largest car sharing club or service, with over 800,000 members and 10,000 cars spread across the United States, Europe, and Canada. They have a mission, and it's to enable simple and responsible urban living, because they're catering to their customers' needs and wants and minimizing their footprints on the environment. That's Zipcar.
All right, great. So the opportunity space was Zipcar saw the need for car sharing networks like they saw in Germany and Switzerland since the early 1990s. The issue that they sought to resolve was that there were too many vehicles on the road, leading to heavy pollution and congestion. But it wasn't just about fixing those obvious problems. It was about trying to find ways to be more sustainable and changing the way people think about transportation through smarter and more efficient methods. Therefore, Zipcar was invented as an alternative to costs and hassles of owning a vehicle and renting a car. Owning a car costs thousands of dollars in maintenance, insurance, licensing, and gas. And renting a car can also be expensive when you consider you pay daily rates of $35 to $150 per day, depending on the type of vehicle you choose, while also having to personally cover insurance and gas options. Zipcar eliminates those additional costs by making them inclusive, so gas, insurance, and even maintenance are all covered by your daily or hourly rate. And this has become a very attractive option for people who use vehicles less than on a day-to-day basis. And they even have options for vehicles to support your business, moving needs, or traveling customers in the city for just short hour-long trips. The company commissioned a survey to the millennial generation that reported that the high costs of maintenance, parking, and gas made it difficult to own their own vehicles, and 50% of those surveyed stated that they would drive less if other transportation options, such as public transportation and car sharing were available in their area, and those numbers were too strong to ignore, which leads us to our value and use. Zipcar's success came from its ability to utilize technology, which helped them rewrite the rental rules by giving them more options and freedom never offered before in the car world. The ease, sustainability, affordability, and convenience of Zipcar won over their customers. With Zipcar, you have the convenience of self-service 24 hours a day, the rental time flexibility by renting by the minute, hour, or the day, and the convenience of being located near public transit for shared use, and the obvious reduction of the carbon footprint by getting vehicles off the road, bringing up the roadways, and available parking spaces, which means less congestion for the everyday driver. Initially, the cost may seem high at $9 per hour or $80 per day, but when that includes gas and maintenance and parking, the savings do add up rather quickly. 30% of the members that joined Zipcar ended up selling their vehicles once they joined, which meant more money in the consumer's pockets. Transit use, bicycling, and walking also increased in the members, so the switch also affected their health and well-being. And the average U.S. household spends $4,000 per year on gas alone. With insurance, car payments, and maintenance, the cost then comes to a staggering $9,000 per vehicle. So the popularity and profits grew rapidly. Zipcar had 6,000 members to start in 2006 and has grown to over 850,000 members in 2014.
Value and exchange now?
Yes.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. So Zipcar fills a super unique section of the rental market for these people who don't own cars, because a standard rental is ridiculously expensive. Taxis are also expensive, a complete pain to use. So for a lot of people who are living in like big cities, cars are ridiculously expensive to own. I mean, parking lots and parking permits alone can cost $300–400 in a city like Chicago. It just doesn't make sense for someone to own a car there. So with Zipcar, they have these separate plans, and the cheapest one is actually starting for free, and then you just pay a little more for your hour or day. but they have the most common one, starts at $6 a month, and it offers these people who live in places where they can't really own a car. It offers them an affordable solution so that they can have access to one pretty much whenever they want. I mean, it's a great deal for, businessmen who are traveling a lot and don't want to pay for an expensive rental from the airport. Students who only need a car occasionally to go to the door or something. I don't know. Maybe visit their family. And like Sydney said, with gas and insurance included, it's $9 an hour is nothing. People are more than willing to pay that, especially compared to having their own car, which can cost, hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month just to own the car, not even to drive it.
All right, Jack, can you tell us about the value and distribution?
All right, so Zipcar currently has about 10,000 vehicles, fleet of 10,000 spread out over about 250 cities. They operate in U.S., U.K., Canada, Austria, France, and Spain. So their value and distribution is pretty strong. They're obviously still growing, and but they have a large fleet of vehicles within the cities. Those vehicles each have a permanent home where they're picked up and dropped off for the user as they share them. So that it makes it as available as possible. They're spaced out to make it fit for as many users as possible within the city, usually concentrated within residential areas and in easy-to-find spots. And then they use an iPhone or an Android app along with the reservation system that helps you find the car, and then every user gets a key card of sorts, which they use to unlock the car, things like that. So it makes it really easy to users to find the vehicles, and they're spread out over a huge area, so it's really practical for a large user base. They estimate, it hasn't quite grown to this proportion yet, but they estimate that as many as 10% of people in North America could use car sharing as their primary means of transportation.
Awesome. And then, Connor, will you give us a little bit of information on the value and finance?
Yeah, and so Avis, the owner of Zipcar, now being like the third largest car rental company in the U.S., made a huge decision just by buying Zipcar. They saw a ton of value in it, and so they bought it for almost $500 million at $491 million, aiming to like get a huge customer base from just car sharing, which would diversify their book of business and change exactly like what they're trying to do as far as car rentals. Also, Avis saw that it would jump. Obviously, that's why they bought them, and the forecast suggested in 2012 for stocks, and everything jumped up to exactly what they were expecting, and the revenue reached to about 7.3 billion through those stocks, and then analysis actually predict that it's going to keep going up to about $2.42 per share of revenue, which would equal about 7.3. And then also Zipcar went into different other options and bought a lot of other entities in Europe, and ended up getting FlexCar and a bunch of other areas that Avis was able to capture and just turn it into a huge business. And so the finances is set.
All right, great. And then, Katie, will you tell us about the value in fitness?
Yeah, so, sorry. Zipcar has like a high value of fitness. They have a team that's like constantly working to take the company to new heights and make the experience easier, faster, and better. Zipcar calls themselves the ambassadors of change, and with this kind of innovative thinking, they're definitely going to be able to be taking this company to places that no one thought could happen, because if you think about like this generation and everyone's new awareness of the environment, Zipcar takes that into account and is minimizing people's footprints. So as people become more and more into this whole like obsession of saving the environment and minimizing our footprints, like more and more people are going to want a car share, and they'll see the need for that and the need for less congestion in the cities because the population's constantly growing. And as was mentioned earlier, how Avis Budget Group bought Zipcar for roughly $500 million in 2013. They now have like that backing and that parent company that with the resources and funding to take all their ideas to like the next level. Like now they have that opportunity, and Zipcar has a dream to one day in major cities where car shares outnumber car owners, and they are constantly working to make that happen. So I think that their value of fitness is high because they have that drive and passion about what they're doing to make it happen.
All right, Connor, can you tell us about governance?
So with the governance, as far as like insurance being included, that was talked about by Sydney. The insurance being included and being able to raise the prices just because of from 21 to olds on the monthly cost. They end up charging a little bit more for that so they can get their insurance risk. They give most of their governance to the people that are actually using the service. So as far as like cleaning the cars, stuff like that, they actually give it to they don't make the people that use Zipcar wash the cars, but they're able to, and so they just get reimbursed obviously for all the stuff they're doing for the cars. But it's kind of governed by all the owners, I guess I would say. Like it's kind of like a timeshare or something to that sort. Kind of what I saw from the governance standpoint.
Awesome. And then last but not least, Jack, can you tell us about those resources?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest barriers for potential customers is the convenience factor. People really like the convenience of owning your own car and being able to use it whenever you want, rather than having to reserve one and plan ahead. So I think one of Zipcar's huge resources is technology, and they've been able to improve that and use that a lot to turn that convenience issue into more of a strength than a weakness. They have a really great, easy-to-use iPhone and Android app. Their online reservation system is also really simple. And then they have things like the cards that all the users get, which work with RFID chips in the cards to lock and unlock them. And then they also have other safety things, ways they're able to use technology. Like if the car is stolen, they're able to not shut it down, but keep it from restarting remotely, things like that. So I think technology is a huge resource for them in making their service much more effective for the average user.
All right, and that is our case presentation for Zipcar. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.